the properties the same hearing? Or are they separate hearings?
Both of the properties are on the same, applications are distinct. Okay, at this time, the city of Plattsburgh is holding a public hearing to hear public comment on the submission of two applications, the Empire State Development for financial assistance under the Restore New York Communities Initiative. These projects include the remediation and restoration of historic property located at 206 US Oval and the conversion of a vacant downtown property to Brinkhoff into a boutique hotel. I'm about to take a motion to open this public hearing. Motion by Councilor Avery, second by Councilor Vaughn. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Now we'd like to hear persons intending to make a comment. Can you grab that for me, please? Any persons intending to make a comment at this public hearing will be given 5 minutes to address the public hearing on this matter. And I don't recognize the first name on here, but 72 Margaret Street?
Oh, no.
No? Okay. Thank you. Here,
Me.
please.
Well, I'm not commenting on that.
Okay, you're not commenting on this.
No,
Okay.
can I go?
Is it not, it's not on this, but it's on something else?
Yes.
Okay, we'll call you back during the actual meeting. This is to make comment. This section for this public hearing, sorry, that wasn't clear. This public hearing is to hear comments on the application, the submission of two applications to Empire State Development for financial assistance under the Restore New York Communities Grant. That's what this section is for. The next section is going to be the regular meeting of the Common Council, and we'll take public comment in that section.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Same thing, not.
Same, okay. I apologize, Mariella?
Michaela?
Oh, I'm sorry, geez, Michaela.
So close.
I'm sorry. It just looked like
Same
an
as
R.
them as well.
Same. Okay.
Yep, thank you.
No problem. Mr. Brody, Steve Brody. Yeah. I'm sorry, Steve, before you start, welcome back, by the way. Good to see you, good always to see you. Is there anybody else in this room that is looking to make a public comment on the submission of these two applications to Empire State Development? Please, can you please use this form to put your first name and last name and your address? Thank you, Steve.
Good morning, good afternoon, I should say. My name is Steve Brody, and I actually put in my Brinkerhoff Street address. I started a new business, will be opening up hopefully in the next 3 or 4 months at 30 Brinkerhoff Street, which is, strange as it may seem, the old NBT bank. And I was also going to sign up here about transparency. I had actually reached out to the Community Development Office and asked if there was any grants for loans available. I was told that there was the Massing Action Facade, which is the revolving loans, and that was it. And then we found out that there was a grant going out for $2.5 million. And I was looking for it, and I knew nothing about it. I would love to apply for it. And that's it in a nutshell. I personally think I'm really happy to see another business on Brinkerhoff Street come to fruition. I like the idea of boutique, a micro boutique motel or hotel. I think it's a fantastic idea. I just would like to have had the opportunity to fill out a grant application as well. And my project was very small budget, which was only going to be about $100,000, $150,000 to create 2 to 3 jobs for the city of Plattsburgh and give another needed niche for the growth of downtown. I think downtown Plattsburgh is wonderful and everything is going great. I just would like to have the opportunity to apply. And I think,
Thanks, sir. I do apologize, brother. I just looked down. I do have this sheet as well. Cindy Snow, please.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Cindy Snow. I live at 34 South First Street. My comments are going to echo Steve's a little bit, but I'm going to take another approach as well. So for the people in the room that don't know what the Restore Grant is and want to be kind of engaged in this conversation, it's a grant that's funded by the Economic Development Agency down in, I might be using the word risk, down in Albany. It's not funded with community money, a little bit. through our taxes and whatever, but it's not being funded by the city of Plattsburgh. Its goals are to, and kind of induce commercial investment and also attract families, industry, or commerce. And the other goal is to improve the housing stock. Specifically, they look for properties that, one, have historic value, or two, need to be rehabbed because they're falling apart. So the two different projects that are being talked about tonight are one that is at 2 Brinkerhoff Street, which is the Key Bank building. That's the one right on the corner of Brink and Margaret. And the second property is over at 206 Oval, the old Army administration building. It's been there since like the late 1800s. So I wanted to talk just a little bit about the 2 Brink building. I have read the entire Restore grant program, all the criteria, the scoring criteria, everything associated with it. I feel like I know it well. Obviously not as well as everybody in this room, but I think I have a good sense of it. So I've been thinking about the 2 Brink property a lot. And I just personally do not feel it's a good fit. And I'm gonna tell you why. First of all, it's not going to induce commerce, right? We might get a couple jobs out of it. Second, it's not gonna attract families. A boutique hotel is not a place you bring your family. And third, I'd like Plattsburgh to be the place that attracts tourism, not a hotel. So I think for me, it's not feeling like a great fit. Now, let's talk about 206. I am excited about that project. I love the project. I love the idea that they want to bring middle-income apartments to the community. I live at that end of the town, and that is what we sell ourselves on, a walk-in community. We have those apartments right there. People can walk to Yando's, they can walk to Kitty Drugs, they can walk to 4 to 5 restaurants that are right there. It is the perfect location for that project. It is. I'm so excited about it. It was a little interesting and how we got there, back in November, for the people that follow politics in town. The vote about, foreclosure and stopping the tax assessment and this and that. But I think that can all be worked out, especially if the developer, who is Regan Development, that also developed all the apartments up on Ampersand, is the one that is going to be developing this project. They have expertise in rehabbing old buildings. I'm really excited about it. So why am I telling you this? I think when we swing, we want to hit it out of the park. I think we should save our opportunity and really develop this second project with a great swing to the Restore grant, and hopefully we win that project. I'm concerned if we swing too early and have a miss, we might not be on the list to be considered in the highest level of scrutiny. So those are my comments. I really hope that the council will think about that, and maybe this round of funding, maybe we'll give it a break. For the next round of funding, I hope that the 206 project is really well developed. We hit all of our goals to be able to present that for the grant. And I also encourage everyone in the city of Plattsburgh to think about what else Plattsburgh might need, and if you have some money laying around and you have
issue with transparency. I think that, going into this, the public had so little information, weeks running up to this about, who was essentially benefiting from these grants. We just were given properties and that's it. I think my biggest concern with this was ultimately the fact that, even today, I'm just finding out today that 206 US Oval, the developer would not be Descent. It would be a completely different developer. This information was not publicly supplied. We looked. And I think the other issue too is even with White Rainbow, purchasing the property on the Key Bank, the 2 Brinkerhoff, there was some misinformation as well where they do not currently own the property. They are pursuing this property. And again, I'd like to know who owns the property, what's going on. giving the public a chance to kind of digest all of the information ahead of time, so that we're able to make an educated, opinion of what's going on here. I think this 24-hour advance thing, where literally we had so much information dumped on us virtually yesterday, and some of it even more today. How on earth can the community come together to say, well, how can we support this? We haven't even had time to think about it. The other thing too that really I find concerning is, we participate a lot with social media online, and I think a big thing for me that was questionable was Gary Douglas, the CEO of the Chamber of Commerce, did post a comment and then deleted the comment, stating that this had been a project to Brinkerhoff that was planned for a long time, pre-COVID. How could this have been planned if White Rainbow just recently started to pursue the property? I can't imagine that if we're saying that this was an open application process, which I didn't hear about that, and that everybody was welcome to these opportunities, how on earth could this have been planned? I think that that's, something to consider when casting your vote today, because there clearly was, in my opinion, some bias going into this. As somebody from the outside looking in, I truly believe that there was some gatekeeping when it came to opportunities revolving around this grant. And I just don't believe that, that's an appropriate way to operate things like this. I think everybody should have the information in front of them to pursue these opportunities. And I think everybody should be given the same information when they ask about these opportunities. That's everything.
Thank you. Super Jones.
Good evening. My comments today are in regards to the administration of the Restore New York grants that we're all gathered here to talk about. Firstly, like Steve Brody, I question the manner in which the recipients were chosen. And I want to apologize in advance if anything I say is misfounded, because a lot of information has come out in the last 24 hours, which apparently has changed certain things that we didn't know about. So it would seem that local citizens learned of this program only when the 2 recipients were announced. So how come we didn't hear about this program before? And how are the recipients chosen? Apparently, the applicants wishing to restore the Key Bank building at Margaret and Brinkerhoff are also the owners of 30 City Hall Place, where apparently Mayor Rosenquist rents a space for his coffee shop. Am I correct in this information? If so, it leads me to believe that this process, far from being transparent, looks as if the mayor was distributing multi-million-dollar subsidies to his friends and/or associates. I might be wrong about this, but that's what the optics look like to me. Secondly, I object to the lesson that the grant of funding to the owner of 206 US Oval teaches. The lesson it teaches is that you can purchase a historic property, neglect it until it falls into ruin, not pay municipal taxes on it, and not only will your unpaid tax debts be forgiven by the city, but you will receive a multi-million-dollar reward for your malfeasance. As a local resident who maintains her property and pays her taxes in full and on time, this comes as a slap in the face. Thirdly, it's my belief that the Restore New York program was designed to rehabilitate buildings or structures that will bring value to the community. Why should the taxpayers of New York subsidize what will inevitably be a private real estate developer's profits? What benefit will this rehabilitation have for the honest citizens of this community? These questions, to me, remain unanswered. Fourthly, this action appears to violate the city's own standards of conduct. Section 57.5 of the city's Code of Conduct states, quote, "No city employee shall use or attempt to use his official position to secure unwarranted privileges or exemptions for himself or others," unquote. Finally, does the city have a 3-person board of ethics? And what is their position on this decision? I want to conclude by saying that I don't want to live in a city that rewards landlords for not paying taxes and letting their properties fall into ruin. This issue raises the questions of self-identity, reputation, and accountability of the city of Plattsburgh. I expect better from my elected municipal leaders. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Danielle Murphy.
Okay, so I want to start out by saying that I do potentially support these projects. I think the Restore New York grant is a great program that we should be going after this funding. But there's just not enough information provided for the community to form an informed opinion on these projects. I'm confused really about the purpose of this public hearing. When the no documents have been provided, we don't have the application to the state, nor do we have the property assessment list. So there's open meeting laws actually require now that documents that are the subject of discussion for a public meeting have to be provided to the public 24 hours in advance of the meeting. And I have foiled these documents. I shouldn't have to foil these documents to receive them. But I have been given the date of May 29th to receive these documents, which is a week after the applications are due to the state. So that, to me, is not appropriate. It, first of all, should have been available online on the city website yesterday around this time. And also for me to be able to look at these documents, to be able to even form an opinion, and anybody else in the community to be able to form an opinion after the applications are already submitted to the state is unacceptable. So I'm not sure what the point of this hearing is under those circumstances. In my opinion, this information should have come out prior, or at least some information should have been put out publicly prior to the letters of intent going to the state. So that's when the public should have started to be informed of these projects. And I also would like to know how those letters of intent, which have also not been provided, which were submitted to the state months ago in March, why those are not have been made available, and how did they get approved? Were they voted on by the council? I never saw anything come before the council in a public meeting about those. So how were those projects selected? The lack of this information leaves a lot of questions as to the selection process of these two applications. How are they selected? By who? There are potential conflicts of interest here, and the public deserves to have that information. I'm here as basically, I'm primarily an open government advocate. I'm a member of the New York State Coalition on Open Government, and this is my primary concern in all things that I've dealt with the city in the past. And this goes back to dealing with the DRI process and the Prime project. And we're still continuing to see these issues. We don't have any ideas of any details of the projects and the merits of them. What is the final outcome going to be? And also a requirement of this grant application is this property assessment list. It is required to be included in the public hearing notice, and also is required to have been published in a newspaper for at least 3 days. And I've not seen either of those things. It is listed as a requirement in the grant. I noticed, and I only just today, somebody shared with me the memo that was sent to the council on these projects, and noticed that the list of required documents in that memo included 5 items, whereas I'm sure maybe all of you have seen this document for the Restore New York Communities Initiative. It includes 6 items in the required documents, and that 6th item is the property assessment list. So the property assessment list is a list that is put together of a comprehensive analysis and survey that the city is supposed to do of all abandoned and vacant and derelict properties in the city. And that is supposed to be provided to the public. That is the tool. the mayor rightly stated in the press release that went out just yesterday about this, that the program does not require an RFP for these projects, which is true. I like the example of Kingston, though, which did have an open application process. Everything was very well informed. The community got to have a say in everything the whole way. And I would suggest you guys do a little, look into that city's process for the Restore New York grant. The city oftentimes says, well, we have complied with open meeting laws and the requirements of said grants and things, but New York State is notoriously horrible for open meeting laws. They have very lax rules. I would like to challenge the city to go beyond, what the requirements of the state are. This list, it was an essential tool for the community to be able to look at these projects that were selected and what other potential projects exist in the city, and be able to come into this meeting and say, yes, I support this, or no, I don't. I think that some of these other projects would have been a better use of these funds and stronger applications. And we've not been provided with any of that. So I brought copies of the Restore New York Communities Initiative Grant Program guidelines, and I highlighted all of the parts which are concerning to me and describe the requirement of this property assessment list, and a description of what that is supposed to entail. So I'm going to just pass this out to everybody, and it's highlighted in yellow, the parts that are of significance, and I would hope that you would consider not voting this project through, not because of it's not been transparent, and this is a requirement of the grant, so I would hate to see us, submit an application that is deficient. So, there you go.
Is there anybody else here in attendance that either just came in, that you are here to make comment for this public hearing? Okay, seeing none, I'll now take a motion to adjourn this hearing. Motion by Councilor Gibbs, second. Councilor Avery, all in favor?
Aye.
We're now adjourned. At this time, I'd like to call the May 16, 2024 regular meeting of the Common Council, City of Plattsburgh to order. It is 5:56 p.m. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Carly, please do the roll call.
Mayor Rosenquist? Here. Councilor Vaughn? Here. Councilor Avery? Here. Councilor Gibbs? Here. Councilor Talon? Here. Councilor Manette?
Here.
Councilor Moore?
Here.
All councilors have received a copy of the minutes of the May 2nd, 2024 regular meeting. If there are no additions, deletions, or corrections, I'll now entertain a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
I have one question.
Yes, please.
I would like to add the last under new business, my comment in there. It was a sarcastic comment, and it does not show up as that.
Oh, it does not show up as a sarcastic comment.
So
Strike it from the record. You will strike
Do you want me to put sarcastic?
Councilor Moore/S comment from the record, from the official minutes of the May 2nd regular meeting.
Next time you put sarcastic.
Fair. Any other corrections, deletions, or additions to that, to those minutes? Seeing none,
We need a first.
sorry, I need a motion, actually. I need a motion by Councilor Gibbs, second. Councilor Minette, all in favor? With the amended, all in favor with the amended, minutes?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. I will now recognize those in the audience who wish to share their thoughts and concerns with the council on any topic. Please come to the podium to be acknowledged, and when called upon, we please ask that you state your legal name and address for the record. In accordance with the organizational rules of order, all speakers will be given 5 minutes to address the council. Aaron. Okay.
Sorry, I have a
No,
final.
it's all good. It's all good.
Hi,
Hello.
my name's Ava Bailey, I live at 5 Summit Drive. I'm here as one of the lifeguards at City Beach from last year. And it's brought to our attention that Scott Dubray, Skippy, is not gonna be returning. I think it definitely needs to be reconsidered, as I think his position is a necessity for the beach, considering all that he does. And I'm just speaking on the beach. I know he's done a lot of other things with Parks and Rec. He is our go-to person as a lifeguard. Any issues we have, we go to him. He's the one that helps us set up lines. He's the one that comes early to break the beach, because respectfully, last summer, DPW had a hard time navigating the tractor. The lifeguards really should not be responsible for having to drive the tractor, and I think, quite frankly, the lifeguards are gonna definitely have a hard time adjusting to someone new. Skippy is definitely a good boss. He's also just a good person in general. He's the one that helps us get all of our paperwork in. He is on us all the time to ensure that we have all of our certifications. We have a great number of lifeguards. Quite frankly, I think we could have more, but he makes sure he organizes that we have something with Karen, so we get a certificate for lifeguards, CPR, AD, everything. And I think that's underappreciated for sure. I have more. Another thing, he paid out of his pocket to help schedule and get all of our timesheets. That was out of his pocket to make his life easier and made our lives easier. I think not having that this summer is going to make it very difficult, as I'm also one of the older lifeguards on duty. Another thing, like just for his character, Skippy has always been a call away if we have issues. As one of the lifeguards, we have free chairs. There's a lot of people that come to the beach, a lot of different people. And I think because of that, there are times where we get uncomfortable, and Skippy is a call away. He will be there within minutes. If we are uncomfortable, he will be there, helps follow through, help us, get us out of the situation. He's just a good person. Because of that, he cares about us, he checks in with us to make sure we're coming back, to make sure, he's checked in with me all last summer to make sure I was doing good in school as I was taking summer courses. I guess basically because I can't read all my grades. Moral of the story, I do think it needs to be reconsidered. I understand we all have our own opinions, but I think as the whole community, although I don't live here, I do work for the city, I think it would be, he's only been an asset for the last many, many years that he has been in this position. I don't know a lot of people that do not like him. I do not know a lot of people who do not respect him as a person or have anything bad to say about him. I think, obviously, I will be happy with whoever runs the beach, but I would much prefer to meet him, and I have a lot of respect towards him, and I appreciate everything he did to help me start last year as a lifeguard. That's my first.
Thank you, Stephanie. Anybody else would like to speak to the council on your topic? Yes, please, Karen Horner.
Thanks. I'd like to speak on behalf of Skippy. He reached out to me to train his lifeguards, and he goes above and beyond. He called me Mother's Day, 9 o'clock at night. He said the kids didn't get the information. He was not to calls me on weekends. He calls me Sunday. He's always available for these kids. He did the lifeguard training himself, so he knew what needed to be done. I was told as of Tuesday he doesn't have a job. He says, Karen, can you recertify my CPR? They need recertification. I said, well, I play tennis on Monday. Can we do it Tuesday? He said, I can't be there because I won't have a job. Can we do it Monday night? Now, tonight, 7:30 to 9:30, we're training the lifeguards. He's there, training them with me. I've never seen a more dedicated, hardworking, professional. Like Ava said, they love him because he cares about them. And I do not understand why the city would get rid of somebody who is so good and dedicated and hardworking and professional. And it is my professional opinion, and I worked in college for 30 years with people who did not work hard, who did not care. And it would be a grave mistake to lose this outstanding pillar of this community.
Again. Anybody else would like to speak to the council on any side?
So,
Sorry, I just, there was somebody walking up
oh,
here.
go ahead. No, you got it. You first. Throw it on there.
Hi everyone. My name is Michaela. I'm from 5 Old Place. I'm smack in the city of Plattsburgh, at least on the outskirts. And I was also here to talk about Scott McGray, also better known to me as Skippy. I was the head lifeguard last year at City Beach. I'm not returning this year because I'm in my career job now, so I will not have the time. But I was the head lifeguard, so I worked hand in hand a lot with Skippy. So I felt like it was very important for me to come here and speak to you all. So with that being said, I've known Skippy for a little bit over a year now, but he's worked for the city as a recreation leader and a recreation employee for 15 years. Now, if you ask me, that's a heck of a lot of time to dedicate yourself to not only a job, but a city, a community. With that being said, there's also a lot that goes into running, not just the beach, but the parks, and I think that it's kind of neglected to see how much goes into running the beach, because, I mean, whether or not you go there, or you're a lifeguard, or you're Skippy himself, yeah, I feel like it's kind of neglected to see everything that goes into that job. Just a few of his responsibilities, not even including the beach. He also hires the temporary seasonal laborers for the beach to keep them all clean. He manages all the field bookings and events. That can be through the YMCA, the high school as well. He assists with all the citywide events, the Mayor's Cup, Battle of Plattsburgh, all the events we love to go to. He helps to make those happen. He also manages and facilitates the fishing tournaments, and I'm not even going to go on because I have a list of 20 other things that he does for the community that I think he should really be, promoted for and thought about a lot more. With that being said, too, he, like Karen and Ava was saying before, he goes above and beyond for his job and his coworkers. And as a head lifeguard, if I didn't have him, I would have been a mess. The beach would not have run the way that it did, and honestly, without him, I don't know what I would have done. Without the water testing that we had to do together, that was my first time being in a boss position, but without him, still as like a supervisor to me, as a go-to person, I don't know what I would have done, quite honestly. His leadership made the process extremely fluid. He's also a leader by example, and he would never ask you to do anything unless he would do it himself. In May, we usually put the lines in because we open Memorial Day weekend, and as if you all know, the lake, it's not warm, it's cold. And he would go in with waders, but there's wind, there's waves, so waders don't really do a heck of a lot as much when you have to bring the lines out so far. So he would go out himself to bring the lines out. He would not make a single one of the lifeguards do it because he said, I would never make you guys do anything that you weren't comfortable doing or if I wouldn't do myself. That was Skippy's biggest thing, and as a leader, I think that's very outstanding to me. Him and his family are outstanding members of the Plattsburgh community, and I just think it's, should be definitely reconsidered his position being terminated because, although I won't be there this summer, I know without his leadership, I have a lot of worries for how the beach is going to run. Not only do we have community members that go to this beach, but the Canadians are friendly neighbors from the north. They're there the whole summer. That's probably our biggest amount of population at the beach, probably Canadians, to be quite honest with you. So I just wanted to say, I would like everyone to be able to take a step back from the situation and really look inwards and see if we can reconsider the consequences that this has, not only on Skippy and his family, but on the lifeguards that are, I know that we have someone else that will be supervising them this summer, but we also are being really left out to dry considering we opened Memorial Day weekend. I just want that to be put out there, and I really don't think it's a matter of ability or inability to perform his job for sure. He's been doing this exceptionally for the past 15 years, in my opinion. So I just ask you to reconsider this termination, and I thank you for your time. Thank you so much.
Anybody else would like to address the council on any side?
Hi, Iris Kane, 94 Court Street. So another thing I saw on today's agenda that I thought was interesting, which kind of does play back into our discussion with the 206 US Oval thing, was I saw that 150 South Peru Street and 36 Monte Street are up for consideration for tax exemption. They're both properties that are currently in delinquent status and are probably should be foreclosed on. You know, my issue here is that if we are allowing the city to choose to give properties an exemption status, we as the community, I think, deserve to know why this is happening. And even if we're forgiving, a balance that is due, I think, again, we should know, because what's happening here is we're seeing our assessments go up $50,000 to $90,000 a year on average, from what I've seen this year. My taxes certainly went up this year, are going to go up. And, I think that I'm seeing is that it almost feels like we're kind of picking up the slack. And this is a very dangerous precedent, in my opinion, to allow the city to pick and choose who should retain ownership of their home when they are considered delinquent. If you don't pay your property taxes, you get foreclosed on. That should be something that is standard. And that is, I think, how most municipalities, that's the standard rule. It was concerning with what happened with Neil Cassette in the past. And now I, argue that now we're seeing this open a doorway into somewhere where we don't want to go. I'm concerned that, if I stop paying taxes, would I be given the same opportunity? And obviously that's not the case. I would hope that you guys would pursue action against me, because again, everybody deserves to be treated the same way. Ultimately, my biggest concern with this is, we want to talk about adding to our tax base as a city. I think we need to foreclose on these properties, and I think that, my heart goes out to these people that can't keep up with what's going on here, if that's the case. But again, there's no transparency or information regarding why these properties are even up for discussion for exemption. As somebody who, is living here and is paying taxes, I would like to know why are these properties being, essentially applied for this. I just don't think it's fair, and I don't think that we should be pushing off other people's fiscal responsibilities onto the entire body of taxpayers for this.
Thank you. Yes. Please.
Hi,
Hello.
I'm Lorraine Martin, owner of Gem Goddess Emporium in Plattsburgh. I've sent you guys a couple of emails, I'm pretty sure you know the name. But I just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit today about who I am and what I'm trying to accomplish where I am. So I lost 75% of my business to the Market Street. It was huge. I've never taken out a loan for my business. Everything that I have in my store is paid for. It's mine. I don't order something unless I can pay for it. I didn't ask to need a loan, but this construction has forced me to be asking for it. Now, when I need a loan, I can't secure one because my sales aren't what they used to be. If I would have applied for a loan, 2 years ago, I could have gotten one. And now that I need one, I can't because my sales aren't where they need to be. I didn't ask to be here, but I'm here. Before construction, you guys were talking about adding jobs to the community. I had 4 full-time people and 5 part-time people that I employed. I now have 4 part-time people. And I can barely give them enough hours to support themselves and their families. I also have a section dedicated to local artisans, and that keeps their families fed too. And I try to keep artisans that aren't in every other business downtown. I want to be able to give to everyone and give everyone an opportunity to showcase what they can do. So Seth Godin once said, people don't buy goods and services. They buy relationships, stories, and magic. And that resonates deeply with me because that's exactly what I strive for at Gem Goddess Emporium. I was a store manager for Hannaford for 20 years. I received so many accolades. I was store manager of the year. I was in the top 10 earnings club for the company. Dale Carnegie, I went to Dale Carnegie, I had a class achievement award. So it's not like I'm new to managing. I know how to manage people. I know how to run a business. I didn't ask to be in this position. Margaret Street Project put me in. So I worked for Hannaford. In 2019, I took a leap of faith and opened the Gem Goddess Emporium. It wasn't just about selling crystals, metaphysical supplies. It was creating a healing space for people. We offer a welcoming environment for people across all walks of life and don't discriminate based on religion, size, sexual orientation, anything. It's a safe space for people. And we're adding products all the time based upon what my customers are asking. Our true value lies in the relationships that we build. Our team is passionate about helping people. We don't just sell products. We're there to educate and empower people on their healing journeys. Whether it's dealing with grief, addiction, or trauma, we offer resources and support with genuine care. I've personally been involved with many community organizations, Habitat for Humanity, Red Cross, United Way, Literacy, JCEO, and I continue to help the community today. So our success is evident in our loyal customer base, and I have over 140 five-star reviews on Google and Facebook. People who just can't say enough and how much they appreciate that we're there and for what we do. But we're not resting on laurels. We're expanding our offering to include an apothecary. I've already started on that. So people can buy and get resources and ingredients to make their own natural products without harmful chemicals and plastics, which is in almost every single product we buy today. And they can create their own natural remedies. The Native Americans had it correct, and the people years ago, the herbs that you find in your garden or you find in your yard are all good for you and can heal you in some way. So I'm not just a business owner, I'm here to help others. And with your support, Gem Goddess Emporium can continue to be a beacon of healing in the community. So I do have, I blew my my paper budget, but I do have some documents regarding the email that I sent. So, thank you.
today.
Okay, I'll be quick. Sorry to City Sound 31st out First Street, sorry about that. I just wanted to mention something on the resolution 7.108. And I have a concern on that, the concern I have is the perceived or actual, basically conflict of interest of Chris who's signing that document. I have a concern only because the resolution is to adopt, the approval of 2 Brinkerhoff Street when the, intended owner of that property and the intended recipient of the restored grant is your landlord. And I have a great concern that whether there is a true conflict of interest, the community has a perceived conflict of interest. And I would like the council to consider whether it would be appropriate for Chris to sign that document tonight, if it's voted to go forward. So that was my first concern. The second thing is, I never do a concern as a suggestion. So the second thing is also in regards to the foreclosure process. I know that you guys are working on a policy for derelict buildings and some sort of, better oversight for that. I've been at a few council meetings that's been talked about. I haven't seen the final documents. But I really appreciate the work that you guys are all doing on that because it is important. And as our citizens are aging and struggling more and more with being able to eat and pay for their medicine and their taxes, and the taxes are going up. And, they can get the STAR exemption if they're under a certain dollar amount in Clayton County, they can get a partial property tax exemption. But nonetheless, a lot of people are struggling in a lot of ways. So my suggestion, as you prepare those documents, and also in regard to this Supreme Court decision associated with foreclosures and having to give back any excess money in excess of the auction. And Dean, this is a crazy idea, but a lot of other municipalities do it, is rather than foreclose in the city having that property back on their own books, some municipalities actually sell the tax lien. So in other words, rather than selling a property, you sell the tax lien, and the owner of the tax lien then forecloses the property. And that's being done in a lot of municipalities, and the benefit for that is twofold. One is, the benefit is you don't have to pay for the foreclosure. The second is you don't have to have the liability associated with that property during the time between the dereliction of the property, the lien, and also then the auction. Also, I think for the sake of transparency, is as you roll out this dereliction process, maybe there should also be a tax process that talks about not only if you're delinquent in, let's just say I'm making it up, okay? But let's say you're delinquent 1 year on your taxes, this has to happen. And then that starts the clock for your redemption period, whether the redemption period is 1 year, 2 years, whatever you guys decide, that's perfectly fine. But I think the public really needs to know what the rules are, because I don't think the general public really knows that. And I think that's why there's a lot of conversation on the street right now about that. And also with that, if you could create that structure, I think it will take some of what's been happening with Couch Street, 206, and now these next 2 properties off your plate from discussion, because now we've opened it up for discussion with everyone who fails to pay their taxes. So just some ideas, I think, and I hope after this meeting that maybe the council or the city will put out what the rules are in regard to delinquent taxes and what starts the clock at different periods in regard to how soon your house is going to be auctioned. Thank you very much.
Joe?
Councilor? First of all, I'm going to talk about a hotel a little bit, but I want to invite everyone in the public to the 2nd annual Kerry Gordon Memorial 5K 1 mile walk. It's free, all right? He was a friend of mine. He was a race director, and he brought people to our city. Justin Ine at the YMCA, and myself, I'm volunteering. We're bringing activities back. So we had 70 participants last year. It's a 5K run, walk, and 1 mile run, walk at the Oval. Pets are allowed, right? And it's free. Everyone gets a T-shirt. Adirondack Elliptical gives running gloves, orange, so when you're running, they can see you at night. And these sponsors here are volunteering, and Steve Brody and Sabe and Bonos added to the list. All right? Second, when the Champlain Valley Marathon was here, when people came to our city, there was always something going on, athletic events. Champlain Valley Marathon, the Y Tribe, the Bayville Meeting Tribe. When they came to our city, they stayed at the Cumberland Hotel, burned down, right? Then they stayed at George Hubbell's hotel and the Golden Gate Hotel, which was in the city. So we need a hotel in our city back. And, I've been fighting for it, and I do believe it should be at the waterfront. So I heard a rumor that someone bought the bank, Key Bank, and they want to convert that into a boutique hotel, in small rooms. Well, Justin Ine, the Wives movie from downtown across to Seton Catholic, they're going to start the move January, February of 2025. He wants to sell that building. When I came to Plattsburgh to go to college, play basketball, and go to summer school, I lived at 38 Clinton Street. I couldn't get a room, so I said, hey, go to the Y, they got rooms there. So I went to the Y, I was going to rent a room, but an opening opened up. So he wants to convert that upstairs, the downtown Y. When you go down, you've got the cardiovascular area, you go up that stairwell. Those were the rooms were up there. People lived up there. People stayed there. Aquatics director Norma lived there. She never missed work. So he wants to develop that. He doesn't want to make it a fitness thing. It's going to compete against the Watts. He wants to put boutiques there, have rooms. The Strand thinks it's fantastic because anytime someone comes to the Strand, they got a house on Route 3. Now, if there's a hotel downtown, the artists can stay there. And if the rooms were there, even if it's at the bank, that's perfect for the artist. Justin's going to the Strand. Are you kidding me? They could stay right there and walk across the street and be right there, the artist. You know? So, in ending, I know people talk about the waterfront, the water treatment center. Styler's still interested. You know, they still want to build there. That smell, I've been fighting for, you know, when I came first about that smell, when I said that the farmer's market's there and everything like that. I'm going to hand this to you because I'm going to tell you a story about a good friend of mine that is a millionaire that they complained to him about that smell in his businesses, right next to Georgia Pacific with that wood pulp smell, and right next to Scomotion Creek. They used to dump. They would call them crickets. All right, so that highlighted area there, just for instance, that smell. The Champlain Valley Marathon, the highlighted area I have for you is right here. Many runners were out-of-towners, and the trend that continued for the marathon 17 years. So when people came to our city, they were out of town, and they stayed downtown. They ate at Arnie's, not Applebee's. Right? Right. Now look at the other highlight thing. This is the finish line, as you see up here. It's right here was the finish line of the marathon. There's the eagle, there's the US finish line. The orange juleps right there. So you're coming into Plattsburgh, right? Just north of the orange julep and Market Street, Plattsburgh, the sign should have read, warning, nasty smell up ahead. With just a mile to go, the runner's feeling like the journey feeling, about 55,000 steps, boom, boom, you know, the unpleasant fumes of the paper mill. Leonard Skinner, ooh, that smell, and then Bouyer's Bakery, right? Well, I had a friend who wanted to put a wall next to George Street, and then he wanted to build condominiums on Scomotion Creek. It was a swamp. He thought he was crazy. It stinks there. Who's going to want to do that? Who's going to want to build that there, you know? Vince Delio was telling me about this, you know? No one wanted to do it, you know? Then he inherited millions of dollars from his father. So what did he do? He got swampland and filled it full of dirt. And he built Set Point and Set Square.
And then the racquetball club, he made it the Bay Club, a multi-million-dollar project. West Bay Plaza. Who's gonna wanna build something next to a wood pulp area? It stinks. I do. His name is Julius David Dane, J.D. Dane, you know? And again, that vision, he believed in his city. That smell's been there forever and it's gotten better and better. Second, the developer, I'm continuing, and I'll be done, all right? This is our training schedule. When Montrealers come to our city, right? So every day at 2:45, there's an Amtrak comes through and it's running, and there's Montrealers going to New York City, anywhere from 10 to 120. Then at 3:54, they come to pick up people to go back to Montreal, right? So the whole idea of having the hotel down there in the waterfront where the train station comes in, it's on the western side. They enter our city with a suitcase and they don't leave it. Waterfront's right there. And I talk to the Canadians all the time because I live at 16 State Avenue, right there. And there's my backyard. And I say, if you came to Plattsburgh, would you stay in a hotel here? Well, not in the summer because that's my boat over there in the marina. You know, they consider a suburb of Plattsburgh a suburb of Montreal, but in the wintertime, yes, you know, so it's like that. Meanwhile, Casella's there dumping their waste, and they're eating a pizza from Bono's at the water treatment center. Urban people can handle smells when it comes in, and it's not all the time. So, we need our hotel there. It should have been done. And again, my friend Tom Crow just got inducted to the Plattsburgh Hall of Fame. My friend Tom Lacey has a sports show Saturday morning. Norm Law, I played for. Ed Jones is the coach. Tom Crow is the coach. We're going to have Plattsburgh Hockey Night. We're going to stay right down here. And we got 40 years of players to come. And same with Plattsburgh State Hockey. We got 2 national champions. Jacques Lemire was the assistant coach when I went to school. Rick Strack is still here in Plattsburgh. It's not rocket science. Montreal considers Plattsburgh a suburb. Got to take care of it. We got 2 colleges coming here, a state university, and I'm glad election's coming because there's going to be some changes. All right.
Anybody else would like to address the council on any topic?
Police department, that point talk that Joe's talking about. I also work in our community development office here. And I exist here to advocate that we have to break as our beach leader. In 2017, the city has several departments, including recreation and engineering. Community development took over the majority of these roles and duties that were eliminated at that time, and 7 years later, here in 2024, we are still dealing with the consequences of outright eliminating positions without any plan on how to cover that job, or losing the institutional knowledge that we had from the people that were in those jobs. In 2020, when COVID hit, the recreation department and all of the recreation employees were furloughed for 3 months. I was the person that for 3 months did all functions of recreation. I can assure you that no person is going to be able to come into a job without any person, without institutional knowledge of doing their job, and be able to do so successfully. In all of our planning, across our planning documents, comprehensive plan, all of our public meetings for various projects, our community comes and speaks out about how we desire and want recreation to come back and to build back up again. And the way to do that is not to eliminate the last remaining recreation employee that we have. I won't speak to Scott's character and qualifications, there's others do that. Ask anybody in the community and they'll be able to tell you what a wonderful and amazing person he is and how much of himself he gives to the city and to the staff. I can say that at various times, after recreation was fully eliminated in 2020, our former community development director advocated strongly for Scott DeBray's position to be reinstated because we need that job to be done. We need it to be fulfilled by somebody who knows how to do it and knows the unique circumstances of our city and has been doing this job for 10 plus years. Thank you. I hope you can consider.
Anybody else like to speak as the council on any topic? All right, seeing none, we'll now, there are no correspondence for any special committees. I will report that the payrolls of the various city departments of the city of Plattsburgh for the week ending May 15, 2024, in the amount of $601,307.04. I'll also report that the council approved the bills audited for the weeks ending May 10th, 2024, in the amount of $1,175,193.60, and May 17th, 2024, in the amount of $1,016,220.88. I'll also note for the record that the reports 6.1 and 6.4 have been filed for the record. And we'll now move on to liaison reports, Plattsburgh Public Library, Councilor Morris Minette.
I have nothing.
Kindness Smart Task Force, Councilor Talon and or Avery.
Unfortunately, I have nothing to report because I was too ill to attend last night's meeting, but I will contact Al-Bashir and get.
Yep. Okay, thank you. Ms. Garland, will you please read the titles of the resolutions to be acted upon?
Item 7.105, authorized budget adjustment, water fund, Patterson Reservoir.
Motion to Councilor Gibbs, second. Councilor Avery, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Vaughn?
Yes.
Counselor Avery?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Manette?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
Yes.
Carried.
Item 7.106, mayoral appointment, Plattsburgh Public Library Board of Trustees.
Motion, Councilor Gibbs, second. Councilor Manette, discussion. Oh, sorry, there's no discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Vaughn?
Yes.
Counselor Avery?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Manette?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
Yes.
Carried.
Item 7.107, authorized travel request, fire department.
Motion, Councilor Gibbs, second. Councilor Avery, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Vaughn?
Yes.
Counselor Avery?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Manette?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
Yes.
Carried.
Item 7.108, Restore New York grant application approval for 2 Brinkerhoff Street conversion of vacant bank building to Vicki Hotel.
Motion by Councilor Gibbs, second. Councilor Manette, discussion.
Yes, I'd like to make some comments. We've had a lot of interest in this item and a lot of public comments, and I'd like to make a formal public statement regarding that grant. On April 26th, the council received the May 2nd agenda, which announced the hearing for the Restore New York Round 8 grant. On April 29th, I requested a copy of the letter of intent to apply, and I only know that exists because the city applied Round 7 for the Restore New York grant, and I foiled all of that document information because it was never provided. And that's how I know that there's a letter of intent to apply with this grant. So on April 29th, I requested a copy of the letter of intent to apply. Council received those documents in a memo from Bertie Meisenheimer outlining information regarding the 2 grant applications, which basically amounts to a memo. So a letter of intent to apply must be submitted by March 25th, which obviously the city did. But the council was never included in the discussion. We were never given an opportunity for input or collaboration prior to submission deadline. So that was applied for, or the intent to apply was submitted, council was not made aware. This is exactly what happened when the Round 7 Restore New York grant was submitted by the mayor in November of 2022 before the December vote for the demolition of the building, that Create Center. I've researched the gentleman who approached the city for the 2 Brinkerhoff Street project. He is the CEO of Lovejoy Commercial. Lovejoy Commercial is the real estate lister on apartments.com for 30 City Hall Place. The description states, welcome to the best apartment complex in town. In the City Well building, there's Chapter 1 coffee shop. You won't have to travel for your morning coffee. And the mayor owns Chapter 1 Coffee, as you know. So the landlord of the mayor's coffee shop wants a $2 million grant for his building on 2 Brinkerhoff Street. And I think that the 2 Brinkerhoff Street idea is a fantastic idea. But I cannot in good conscience vote for this project. I think it is great that an abandoned building downtown will have new life, but as stewards of the city taxpayer money, we cannot make decisions that look unethical, and this looks like impropriety. We were never given any of the documents that Ms. Urban has already
referenced in her statements. I asked for the application document, we did not get it. So it is a shame, this is a wasted opportunity, but I cannot vote for this.
Any further discussion?
I'm not as put together as Elizabeth, but when am I ever? But I do believe this resolution of this idea of this project, the hotel and boutique, in the proposed location is a very good idea in theory. And could benefit the downtown area, which I have always encouraged. I don't believe this Restore New York plan is the right path to take. The council had little to no idea this was being pursued or even considered, or earlier discussion would have happened at a previous work session. I believe this grant is one that should be used to benefit the city as a whole, such as possibly housing. Once again, something for the whole city.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Bond?
No.
Counselor Avery?
No.
Counselor Gibbs?
No.
Counselor Talon?
No.
Counselor Manette?
No.
Counselor Moore?
No.
Peter.
Item 7.109, authorized budget. Item 7.109, authorized budget adjustment, general fund corporation council fees for service.
Motion, Councilor Diaz, second. Councilor Avery, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Bond?
Yes.
Counselor Avery?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon? Yes. Counselor Manette?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
Yes.
Carried.
Item 7.110, authorized cancellation of the City of Plattsburgh city tax lien.
Motion. Councilor Gibbs, second. Councilor Manette, discussion.
I don't know when to do this. I'd like to make a motion to amend the resolution to separate the separate the properties if possible. I have a problem voting for them as a unit. So I am making a motion to amend the resolution to separate the properties.
I'll second that.
Hold that. Okay, so we see how that's gonna work. We might have to just introduce a new resolution for the other parcel. We can do that under new business. Or we have to vote to waive Rule 14.
I think she can just amend, I mean, I don't see why we can't just.
Well, we can amend it to pull one of the properties out, but then it wouldn't leave a mechanism for voting on the other property.
If we could pull Monty Street out, then that would be great.
Sure, I mean, either do it now or if we do new business, I think we're all heading in the same direction then.
If we did it under new business, we'd have to then vote to waive, what's the rule 42, I think?
The urgency, yeah.
I don't know, but what's the rule?
Two,
Two?
two, four.
Okay.
You guys just do it all.
Okay.
Motion to waive the reading of the entire resolution. We just have to ask. Make sure, Richard, we can just separate those two?
Yeah, they're separate properties, so you can have two resolutions to introduce each one.
Okay, motion on the floor to amend this resolution to remove every place where it says on the first whereas after and parcel ID 221 dot.
Are we removing Monty Street?
That's the motion on the floor, correct? Removing Monty Street from this item?
Monty Street.
And then it's going to be introduced under new business as a separate resolution, correct?
Correct.
You roll call on the amendment?
Everybody settle on that amendment?
So we would just be voting on South Fruit Street.
Correct.
Are we going to vote on separation of that?
So we're gonna vote on the amendment and then we're gonna vote on the amended item. So the amendment on the floor is removing language in the first whereas after the and parcel ID 221 dot, et cetera. Yeah. Yes, great. Any further discussion on the motion to amend? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? One in the opposition on the motion to
Who
amend,
was opposing?
Mr. Manette. And then all in favor, call the question on the actual amended item. There was a motion and a second. So call the question on the amended item. All in favor?
Can I do a roll call?
We can do a roll call.
Did you do a first and second on it?
We did a first and second to open it to the floor, and then we did a first and second to make the amendment.
Great.
Correct.
You did the first and second for the amendment resolution.
So we had a first and second for the amended resolution, Counselor Gibbs and Counselor Bond.
Bond, Gibbs, and then first.
So that was for the amended.
Right. But now we're voting on the resolution as amended.
As amended.
You have to do.
We had one open before. We had one to open the discussion. Who voted the first and the second to open the floor for this item?
Bond.
Counselor Bond and Counselor Gibbs. Okay, so that's the first and second, the original first and second. That's also the first and second on the amended item.
No, Gibbs and Manette, Gibbs and
Sorry, I
Manette,
apologize. Gibbs and Manette. Yeah, okay, thank you.
and then Julie and I
Yep.
were
Thank you.
the first and second on the motion to separate
Yes.
the two properties.
Yep.
Okay, so now what are we voting on?
We're voting on the item as amended.
So we are voting on the, 36 Monty Street.
No,
We're voting on, that's why I'm asking. So we're voting on the 150 South Peru.
We're voting on the item as amended. The amendment is removing language in the first whereas after including and parcel ID 221 dot to the end of that whereas.
And I just had one comment.
Hold on, are we clear on what we're voting on?
No.
Yeah, we need to discuss it. May I?
We're voting to discuss
We're voting on whether
one
we
fifty
can-
South.
Oh, geez. Yes, I do. Yay.
Everything after.
Those are correct.
So we're voting on the
Strike
36
that out.
Monty
No,
Street.
we're not. Strike this
That's
out.
what I want.
Yeah, we're voting on 150.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Got
strike
it.
that out. Voting is-
Okay, good.
Okay. All right, are we all clear on what we're voting on? Great. Roll call.
I just had one
Yeah, I'm
comment.
sorry.
Thank you, Councilor Bond, for separating these. I would have voted no for both of them together. But I am voting. This will be accepted.
All right, thank you. Roll call.
Council Bond,
no,
you're going to go on South First Street, right?
right, because we want it.
Today?
I want it to, the cancellation of the tax, I want the tax.
Then that's a yes.
Then it's a yes. Then it's a yes. All right.
Councilor Avery?
Yes.
I really completely.
Wait.
I know, see?
You,
See?
Do you want
So
to
you
vote?
I want it.
One next
You
to
can't. You want to foreclose on the property or not?
I want them to foreclose on it.
I'm sorry, been foreclosed on.
I want them to foreclose.
Hold tight. The property has already been foreclosed on. It's not even a question at
Right,
this point.
so,
Yeah.
So, okay, so
Okay. So the question here is, we are voting on the authorization of the cancellation of the tax lien that is on the property right now, both properties. The call to question was voting on both cancellations. The amended item is to remove the Monty Street and vote on just the
Right.
South First cancellation. Okay, cancellation.
Yeah, can I just sort of clarify everything?
Yep.
This is the one that had all the property in it.
yeah, I got that.
No.
Oh, wait, no,
No,
it's the
stop.
other one, it's the other one.
This 150 South Peru Street is a derelict property, had no personal property in it. Okay, holes in the roof, no useful life, no nothing.
Okay, that's what we're voting on right now.
That's what we're voting on right now. We're voting on the authorization to cancel the tax lien on 150 Broad Street. So 150 South Peru Street, 150 Broad Street. Okay. Any other questions about what we're voting on?
I still think I'm supposed to vote, or supposed to. My mind is telling me no.
So item 7.1.
So a no,
150 South First Street, right?
yes, 150 South Peru Street. A no vote would not cancel the tax lien on this.
Right.
This
So
is
I'm
one
ready
that you
to
just
start
need
the
to
roll call.
do something to sell it. It's knock
Right.
it down.
It would mean that it would be sold
Okay,
by picking up, so no.
Any
So
questions?
Council Vaughn,
Okay, roll call.
Council Vaughn,
No.
No.
Council Avery,
Yes.
Council Gibbs,
No.
Council Talon. No. Council Manette,
Yes.
Council Moore,
No.
3 noes.
Measures
No, 1,
defeated.
2, 3, 4. Item 7.11, travel request, police department.
Motion, Counselor Avery, second by Counselor Gibbs, discussion. Roll call.
Yes.
Wait, I'm gonna say the name.
Let her say your name. Let her say your name.
But, sorry, didn't that what you said?
Council Vaughn,
Yes.
Council Avery,
Yes.
Council Gibbs,
Yes.
Council Talon,
Yes.
Council Manette,
Yes.
Council Moore.
Yes,
Travel
yes, yes.
Yes, thank you. All right, we got that one. All right. Item.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, hold tight though.
We're on new business.
Yes. There's no need to there's no need to go into executive session tonight. Under new business, there's the item that we just separated out, as well as a vote to waive Rule 4. Motion on the floor to waive Rule 4. Motion by Councilor Gibbs, second by Councilor Avery, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
And I just make, just for point of order, that we waive a reading of this resolution, but we ask that if you're reflecting the minutes as if it was written out. And this is just on 36 months.
Okay, 7112, item 7112 as new business, the authorizing of the cancellation of a City of Plattsburgh tax lien for parcel ID 221.15-2-27 located at 36 Monty Street, Plattsburgh, New York. That is a parcel. As on the floor, the language of the resolution is also part of our organizational meeting. We do not need to read the resolution in its entirety. But as Dean noted, for the record, the full text of that resolution will be entered into the record, the official minutes. Okay? Any further discussion on that? Okay, I'll take a motion for item 7.11, authorizing cancellation of City of Plattsburgh city tax lien for that parcel listed. Councilor Bond, second by Councilor Avery. Discussion. Roll call.
Council Vaughn,
Yes.
Council Avery.
Yes.
Council Gibbs,
Yes.
Council Talon.
Yes.
Council Manette,
Yes.
Council Moore.
Yes.
Carried.
All right.
Is there anything other, you got through that? That was not bad.
You bet.
Look at that, we got it. All right, is there any other new business to come before this council?
Yes, I'd like to make a statement to the public about several individuals who had come to the council tonight to express their support for Scott Dubrain. I think that there are some facts of the matter that need to be shared with the public. Personnel items are confidential, so I cannot comment publicly on anything regarding that. But I think that there are some facts that need to be shared with the public. At 9:46 a.m. today, the council received a confidential memo from the mayor regarding Mr. Dubrain. And I want to be clear to the public, the council has not been involved in any meetings regarding Scott. We were never consulted, informed, or updated. Whatever is happening with his position has been the sole work of Mr. Rosenquist. The council has not been part of the decision-making process. In fact, all personnel issues are decided without council involvement now, and I brought this concern up back in March about how we're paying labor council for issues that we're not being made aware of. I cannot say any more at this time, but I wanted the public to know that this was not a joint decision between council and the mayor.
Councilor Gibbs, as is aware by the charter, there's a function of this executive office, and it's very clearly distinct from the legislative branch that the mayor's office does manage matters of employment. Considering the public nature of this issue, it was shared, those details were shared as a consideration to council so that everybody had the same information. And it wasn't just one-sided. So they're that part as well. Let's not leave that out. Any other new business? Take a motion to adjourn. Motion by Counselor Talon, second by Counselor Gibbs. All in favor?
Aye.
We now adjourn.